This is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. You caught me right in the middle of juicing. What I'm doing today is we're juicing a total of 3 pounds of weighed out carrots in the Argus LE juicer. I'm not going to give you guys actually a review of the Argus LE in this episode. I've already actually reviewed this, so check the link down below for the review and comparison of the Argus LE. I'm just juicing carrots today, and man, this is having a hard time putting out lots of like wet pulp into the juice, as well as you can hear the juicers like literally almost slowing down, really having a hard time with this. But anyways, the reason for this episode is actually because I want to show you guys the top 3 easiest ways to get more juice out of the pulp when you're done. You know, alright, so I'm just about done juicing the Argus LE. Actually, we've gotten a lot of pulp in here, and unless you're using a juicer like we sell, like the Green Star Elite juicer, the pulp that you create in your juicer generally is going to be fairly wet. It may have more yield in it depending on the style of juicer you're using and the specific produce item you're juicing. You may have up to 35% more juice left in the pulp. Centrifugal ejection machines, those high-speed machines, are notorious for keeping extra juice in the pulp. If you're using something like this machine, there's going to be very low percentages of juice left in the pulp because this machine is so efficient on things like carrots as well as leafy greens when you juice them together. Of course, if you got a Norwalk or a hydraulic press style machine, those types of juicers tend to get the pulp really dry where you probably won't be able to press too much more out of the juice. In any case, I'm just about done juicing the 3 pounds of carrots in the Argus LE. This thing is rather loud. Turn this off, and in my opinion, this juicer did poorly juicing 3 pounds of carrots. In general, 1 pound of carrots should equal approximately 8 ounces of juice or 1 cup of juice. And this juicer, I juiced 3 pounds, and I basically made 2 1/4 cup of juice here. And if we look at the pulp that was generated, you know, this is actually probably the most amount of pulp I've ever seen a juicer create. So it really made a lot of pulp that it put into the juice, and I'm pretty sure that the pulp here generated from the Argus LE still has plenty of juice left. So now I want to get into my top 3 easy ways to get more juice out of this pulp. Alright, so what I'm doing now is we're going to go ahead and take this pulp like 1 scoop at a time and carefully divvy the pulp up into 3 different bowls that are of exactly the same weight. And we're going to take the main pulp out of this pulp catch container, as well as a pulp that's a bit more moist off the strainer here. So I'm going to try to divvy this up as the best I can, like the exact same amounts. And we're going to come back at you when I'm about done. So now I'm going to show you guys the first easiest way to get more juice out of your pulp. It's simply to wring it out. So what I got today is 2 things. You're going to need a nice large bowl here, and then you're going to need these guys. And what these guys are 10-inch non-woven filter cones, and this is EFC 10 by Royal Paper. I'll put a link down below where you could get those, and if you do purchase them through the link, please be aware that proceeds from your purchase, the affiliate commission, will go to a non-profit animal shelter that rescues dogs and cats that have deformities and health challenges. So I appreciate you guys supporting the links. Anyways, these 10-inch non-woven filter cones, you can buy them online, or you could go down to your local restaurant store. I found actually online where I bought them and where I recommend down below. It was a little bit cheaper than my restaurant store. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and open this guy up and show you guys what these guys are. I have tried to use like coffee filters before. Don't recommend that. They just tear open really easy and bust open. So these are just basically filter cones. They're used normally to filter the grease. If you buy French fries, hopefully you don't eat French fries. They're some of the worst foods, or any kind of fried food. But when restaurants fry their food, there gets particles in the fry grease. They run it through this, and then they could reuse their fry grease, which is kind of gross. The other thing you guys could do is you just take this whole filter cone, and before you start juicing, actually just line it inside your juicing pulp catch cup to catch all the pulp, so it's already in there, so you won't have to do a retransfer, right? So I'm just kind of putting this filter cone over my cup here, and then we're just going to go ahead and take all the pulp, one of the evenly divided pulps out, and we're just going to go ahead and dump all the pulp in here. So we pretty much got all the pulp in there. Then all we do is we then take this and we just dunk it down, get it all the way down to the bottom. You guys could probably see that a little bit through the filter cone there. And I'll basically just bunch it up at the top, and then I'll twist it. And this way I make a nice tight seal, and literally I'm just twisting and twisting, and I don't know if you guys could see that, but now I'm dripping all the juice out. Now if you're doing a lot of juice, you know, this is like 200 grams of juice. It's probably a pretty good amount to be, you know, sifting out. You guys could do that. If you have more, then I would definitely not do more than like 200 grams at once. And you do want to be careful with this. Although, you know, it's not like a totally a paper cone. It is fragile and it will bust on you. But it's a lot more durable than, like, say, a coffee filter. So I'm just sitting here squeezing this out, and you guys can see I'm just literally wringing out the juice. Now, if you guys wanted to use something a little bit more reusable than this guy, because this is like a one-time use, kind of busting out the seams already here, you guys could get something like a nut milk bag or a paint strainer bag that is available at a hardware store near you. If you're even cheaper, you have an old pair of nylons if you're a lady, hopefully a new pair of nylons that are clean. You could use something like a nylons. Those will probably wear out pretty fast doing this. Or something like some cheesecloth. And yeah, you will want to take special care when squeezing the pulp out of this, because this thing is starting to bust through actually on me. But nonetheless, you guys can see we're getting some juice out. It is busted up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a second one. And dump all the pulp in. And I'll try to be careful, more careful with this time, you know, and basically, if you kind of squeeze and twist, that's when I was getting some issues. So I'm just going to try to squeeze gently and not twist the cone so much. Alright, so that worked fairly well. And let's see how much juice we got out of that from squeezing. It's kind of a messy, you know, my hands are turning orange. Alright. So it looks like we got a total of, how many ounces here? 1.3 ounces more of juice. And considering we made a total of 20 ounces, 1.3, it's like maybe 10% more juice by squeezing, getting your hands all dirty. This is not the method I normally use. It's way too messy. So let me go ahead and show you guys two better methods. So the next method of getting more juice, that's pretty simple, is just rejuice the pulp you just got out. Now, this will work to varying degrees of success on different juicers. For example, the horizontal single auger machines like the Omega NC800, Omega 8006, Omega 8004, Solo Star 4, Solo Star 3, those style juicers tend to rejuice the pulp better than, say, the vertical single auger juicers. That being said, the VSJ 843 is the best vertical single auger juicer that I've used to rejuice pulp because it tends to keep things flowing. If you do this on some vertical juicers, you just put all the pulp in and basically nothing will come out. That's because the pulp is actually inside the machine, so you're going to need to get it unstuck. And I'll show you guys a tip to do that. Anyways, I got the VSJ plugged in. Going to go ahead and turn that on. We're just going to go ahead and take the handfuls of pulp very carefully and put them in the feed chute. And you definitely will want to, you know, not just cram it all in there at once, but just do a little bit at a time. And the machine is currently working. And as you guys can see, we're already starting to get some of the juice out. Now once again, depending on what juicer you're using, you know, there may be more juice or less juice left in the pulp. And to be honest with you guys, most of the time I actually don't bother to rejuice my pulp unless it's maybe some special produce I grew or something. Because I feel that there's just not enough extra juice in there to warrant making a mess, because I'm trying to put this in as careful as I can, and you know, things dripping and whatnot. Particles are kind of getting everywhere, a little bit messy. Alright, so now I got basically all the pulp in there, and you guys can see we definitely got some juice out. It's working fairly well. Now the VSJ is working fairly well juicing this. You guys can see we got the pulp coming out, but especially if you're using other juicers, the thing I want you guys to do is rejuice your pulp with new produce, right? The juicer is designed to juice whole pieces of produce, not rejuice pulp necessarily, although it will do that to varying levels of success depending on what juice you have. But if you intermix like a pulp and a piece of carrot, pulp and carrot, it's going to work much better. Or like I'm doing today, I just basically put all the pulp in, and then I'm just going to let it feed in some regular carrot. And just feeding in a little bit of regular carrot will help kind of move some of that impacted pulp that's actually not going through the machine. It'll move it through. This will also artificially inflate the yield a little bit because I am juicing, you know, one whole new virgin carrot, you know, to try to help get some of the extra juice out of the old pulp that I previously put in. So as you guys can see, I'm taking my time feeding this carrot because I just want the carrot to be ground up and to push out some of that pulp that was already in the machine. And once it's done, you're just going to want to let it run for just a little bit to get all that juice out. Alright, so it looks like we're about done. We'll turn that baby off and we're going to take a look and see how much we got here. So it looks like we got about, well, I think it's about 100 milliliters of juice, and the original juice was approximately 600 milliliters. So that's like maybe approaching 20%, not quite 20%, maybe 18%, just doing the math out of my head. So 18%, and then maybe like, so definitely by rejuicing the pulp, it was definitely a lot easier than actually squeezing it out. The juice is also, you know, a little bit cleaner, and I think it worked a little bit better. And comparing it, we got, once again, about 100 milliliters of juice in the rejuice, of course, with one carrot addition, and we got about 40 milliliters of juice just pressing it out. Next, I want to show you guys my favorite way to rejuice the pulp, which is even, in my opinion, the most efficient. So now I'm going to show you guys my last and final way I like to extract more juice out of the juice pulp that I create when I'm juicing. And to do that, I'm doing like a hybrid technology. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to combine the pulp back with, actually today I'm using coconut water, but you could just use some good pure filtered water. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two ingredients, actually I'll do that right now, in a blender. And I happen to be using today a NutriBullet blender that actually has a vacuum technology. So I do encourage you guys, you know, if you guys are going to do this step, I encourage you guys to actually, you know, put your pulp into a vacuum blender and pull a vacuum on it. Because what many people don't understand is when you're juicing at a low RPM, you're doing minimal oxidative damage to the juice and the nutrients in the carrots or whatever you're juicing. But when you blend, especially at high speed, you know, and there's a vortex inside the blender, which there's a vortex always in every blender, you're doing massive oxidative damage because that vortex is like just like a funnel of oxygen that's just getting infiltrated into whatever you're blending. And so for that reason, I basically only use vacuum blenders in my life now. Be sure to check the link down below for a video of the only vacuum blender on the market at this time called the DynaPro. Anyways, once we got the pulp in there, we're going to go ahead and add, I measured out carefully, 16 ounces of water, which we will actually pour off later to separate that out to see actually how much more yield we got using this technique with the extra added coconut water. We're going to screw on our extractor blades there, flip this over, and then we're going to go ahead and pull a vacuum on this. So this is a blender that I actually modified myself so we can do vacuum blending in it. So right now I'm just pumping out all the air. Another thing the vacuum does actually when blending is it actually expands the fibers, and if you click the link down below to the DynaPro video, you'll see actually where I put marshmallows in the vacuum blender and literally it expanded, and the same thing would have happened under this situation. So in any case, so once we got this under vacuum, you guys can see the level actually raised up. We're going to go ahead and put that in the blender and blend it on up. Alright, so what the blending does is a few things. Number one, it basically mixes up the coconut water with the carrot pulp. In addition, because there are blades in there, it literally cuts up the carrot pulp more and it lets out more of the juice into the liquid. If you didn't want to use a blender, you could just go ahead and take your pulp and take your carrot, coconut water or some filtered water, put it together and just shake it up really good. That'll still work good, but of course, blending it in a vacuum blender is the best, and I always like to teach you guys the best of what I know. No holes barred. Let's go ahead and pull the vacuum off this, and you guys will hear and watch the container. And you guys see it just literally blew down because it was under vacuum. So this ensures that I'm having a higher quality mixture. Once that's done, then the next step is you're just going to go ahead and turn the machine on. And unlike last time where we needed kind of like an extra carrot to help feed it through, we could do that at the end, but because this mixture is now pretty much all liquid, or pretty liquidy, it's going to go through the juicer much better because the juicer really works well with more liquidy items than dry items. So we're just going to go ahead and carefully pour this right into the chute of the machine. And you guys could already see the juice come out. So, this is like coconut water with carrot juice kind of like mixed together. I'm doing this, as I said, because this is going to get a higher yield. Also, this is a little bit easier and neater to deal with than just putting, pulp back through the machine. And as you guys can see, we got the pulp coming out, and the pulp that's coming out this time is quite dry because we've literally broken up all the fibers so small and just added the liquid to it. And now the juicer has a really easy time extracting all the liquid out of this mixture we've created. I mean, this is a similar process I do when I make nut butters in the VSJ 843. Literally, I just take my coconut meat or soaked nuts, blend that up with some water, and now I'm only blending now in a vacuum blender. And then I put that through the machine, and basically it'll extract a nut milk. If I remember, I'll put a link down below to a video actually making the nut milk in the VSJ 843. Now, I'm using this VSJ 843 today because it is my favorite vertical slow juicer, and it does this process the best. As I said before, some other vertical juicers may actually kind of like get hung up. They're not going to continually put the pulp through. The pulp will just sit and spin inside the machine. So if that happens to you because you don't have the VSJ 843, don't worry. Just take a real carrot, a whole carrot, and feed that in at the same time you're putting the pulp through. And once again, I want to remind you guys, don't stick anything into the feed chute of the juicer except the pusher, and actually that, I don't even recommend you guys use the pusher to juice when juicing in the VSJ 843. You should only be using a pusher if something gets stuck inside the feed chute. I'm going to go ahead and take a gander down the feed chute. Looks like some of the pulp is still stuck in there, so I think I'll add maybe like one more carrot to help get some of that extra pulp out. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and feed a carrot in to get some of that residual pulp that's stuck in the machine out. As you guys can see, I mean, instant I put the carrot in, a lot more juice coming out, and that's not the juice from the carrot, that's just the reaction from this new pulp getting pushed in the juicer, which pushes all that soft, watery pulp out. And once again, these machines are designed to juice whole vegetables, not rejuice your pulp, but you can get away with it with a technique such as this one. So I'd say now that the juicer is actually finally extracting some of the carrots that we just put in there. Alright, so I'd say we're just about done. Let's go ahead and turn that off, close the spout cap, and to be fair, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pour off the first 16 ounces because that's actually how much coconut water we added to make this happen. And if we do that right to 16 ounces, what we have left here is actually everything else that was the carrot juice that came out from rejuicing our pulp, plus a little bit of that extra carrot. So let's go ahead and get a measuring cup for that right there, and let's go ahead and measure this. Alright, so we could go ahead and compare these three for you guys. So squeezing out only made approximately 40 milliliters of juice. Just rejuicing the pulp made about 100 milliliters of juice, and that's rejuicing the pulp with one extra carrot. And then finally rejuicing the pulp with some coconut water in this instance gave us our original coconut water back over here, but then also gave us about 125 milliliters of juice. Not bad considering originally, we got about 600 milliliters of juice on the front side. So hopefully after watching this episode, you guys now know how you could extract more juice out of your very valuable and sometimes expensive organic produce using one of these 3 simple methods. The method I prefer the most actually is just doing it with the water, because now not only do I have 125 milliliters extra, I now have coconut water infused carrot juice, which is kind of nice to drink. It's not quite as strong as drinking straight up carrot juice, but now now you got the power of the coconuts, and with all the electrolytes as well as all the beta carotene and nutrients of the carrot juice. So yeah, that's what I normally do, but hey, I showed you 3 easy ways so you guys don't have to be throwing away wet pulp. And besides just rejuicing your pulp, once it's so dry like it is over here on this side, I pretty much just compost it. I know many people like to reuse their pulp to make crackers, to make, you could put it in a pot of water with some herbs and spices and simmer it on up and then strain it on out. You could have a nice vegetable broth. You could actually add it to your dog or cat's food so they actually get more nutrition, more fiber. But honestly, what I like to do with it pretty much most of the time is just compost it so it turns into more nutrition for my vegetable garden, so I can continue to grow my fruits and vegetables in my yard. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode, I would encourage you guys to support me and my work, right, by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to continue to make these educational videos, teaching you guys things that nobody else on earth literally will teach you. Like a big box store selling you a juicer, they're not going to show you guys how to maximize your yield of juice, right? They probably don't even care. They just want to make their money from selling you the juicer. Me, on the other hand, I make a living at selling juicers, and I juice every day. Plus, I want to show you guys the best way and the best juicers and show you guys the comparisons of the juicers so you guys can buy the right one. It's so important to me to give back, to let people know, what the best juicer is and some of the techniques that I've been using over the last 20 years to get the highest yields and create the best health for myself. And I remember when I was back in your situation, back the days before there was the internet, and I got these mail order catalogs and they try to explain the different juicers and say, hey, this is a comparison between this one and this one, this is why this is better, this is why that one's better. And frankly, that got me started in making the videos and putting together my website. And now with these videos, there's no other person on earth that makes these in-depth comparisons or will give you as many tips and tricks that I do in my videos. So if you guys have gained knowledge, gained information, I've helped you in any way, I would encourage you guys, just do me a small favor, make your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me directly so I can continue to make these and many other educational videos on YouTube for you guys to help you guys out so you guys can become more effective in eating more fresh fruits and vegetables. And guess what? Juicing, in my opinion, is the best way to maximize your consumption, especially of the leafy greens, hard root vegetables, as well as regular vegetables and also fruits, because those are simply the best foods on the planet. So I want to thank you guys in advance for those of you guys that have or will purchase from me, and I want to thank you guys for those of you guys that have purchased from me in the past. I'm still here making videos to support all my customers so you guys could juice more effectively, save more money, and of course, get the right juicer for you. So be sure to thumbs this up if you like this. I'll be sure to do more tips and trick videos like this. I juice every day, and along my juicing journey, as well as input from my customers, I learned so many different tips and tricks that I'd love to share with you guys whenever I'm able. So yeah, your thumbs up will encourage me to make more videos like this one. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below to be notified of my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out about every 5 to 7 days. You never know what juicers I'll be comparing, what new vacuum blenders I'll be showing you guys, or what new juicing tips or other related dehydrator tips I'll be sharing with you guys. I'm always a wealth of information. Also, be sure to check my past episodes, especially if you guys are looking to buy a juicer. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 450 videos on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys and comparing all the different juicers so you guys can just cut through the BS that the manufacturers give you, and I'll just show you guys the truth on how each juicer performs and my honest opinions of what I think about each of them. And here's the truth. The truth is there's no one best perfect juicer for everybody, but there is a perfect juicer for you depending on your specific needs. And watching all my videos, you'll see and learn the pros and cons of each juicer, and then you'll get to make an educated decision on what juicer you would feel most comfortable and what will juice the best for you. So yeah, my past videos are a wealth of knowledge. Finally, be sure to share this video with somebody else that you know that's into juicing, somebody that you got into juicing, somebody that you want to get into juicing so that they could create, more yield out of the produce they're buying. And in the case of the juice I made last, it made 20% more yield. This one maybe, 15%, and this other one, for like less than 10%. So there's always a way to pinch pennies today, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So anyways, with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.